Good evening, everyone. I have 7 p.m. Monday, May 1st, for the regular city council meeting of the city of Waverly. Call the meeting to order and entertain the roll call, please.
Birgen.
Here I am.
Drenkow.
Here.
Myers.
Here.
Kangas.
Present.
Rathe.
Present.
Schneider.
Here.
And Beaufore is absent.
Yes, she is. Thank you. Section C, the Pledge of Allegiance, please. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you, everyone. Brings us to Section D, the approval of the agenda.
I will move approval of the agenda as presented.
Second.
Motion by Birgen, second by Drenkow. Council discussion, if any. Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the same sign. Motion carries. Section E is the approval of the minutes.
I will move approval of the April 17, 2023 City Council minutes.
Second.
Motion by Drenkow, second by Rathe. Council discussion, if any.
I had one, wasn't this April 24th?
April 24th was the study session.
Right.
Yeah.
My mistake.
It's all right.
Any other discussion? Hearing none, all in favor of approving the minutes, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the same sign. Motion carries. Section F, the guest council member for May will be students from Waverly Shell Rock, the Excel Club, but
Not tonight.
not tonight. So we'll get them at the next meeting. So moves us right into Section G, our public hearings. First one, item 1. This is the date, time, and place for a public hearing on the second reading of Ordinance 1123, amending the Municipal Code of Ordinances of Waverly, Iowa by repealing Chapter 74 Waterworks and replacing it with a new Chapter 74 Waterworks. The mayor and city council will entertain any comments. After all comments, the hearing will be declared closed and the following action will be considered. Have we received any written or oral comments, Carla?
I have not, Your Honor.
Thank you. Any public comments from anybody that has joined us this evening? Seeing nobody rise, we'll close the public hearing and entertain a motion.
I'll move to approve the second reading of Ordinance 1123, an ordinance amending the Municipal Code of Ordinances of Waverly, Iowa by repealing Chapter 74 Waterworks and replacing it with a new Chapter 74 Waterworks.
Second.
Motion by Schneider, second by Birgen. Council discussion, if any. Hearing none, roll call, Carla.
Schneider.
Yes.
Rathe.
Yes.
Myers.
Yes.
Kangas.
Yes.
Drenkow.
Yes.
Bergen.
Yes.
A vote of 6-0 and 1 absent. The second reading of Ordinance 1123 is approved. Item 2, this is the date, time, and place for a public hearing on the second reading of Ordinance 1124, amending the Municipal Code of Ordinances of Waverly, Iowa by repealing Chapter 75 Wastewater Facilities and replacing it with a new Chapter 75 Wastewater Facilities. The mayor and city council will entertain any comments. After all comments, the hearing will be declared closed and the following action will be considered. Have we received any written or oral comments, Carla?
I have not, Your Honor.
Thank you. Any public comments from anyone that has joined us this evening? Seeing nobody rise, we'll close the public hearing and entertain a motion.
I will move approval of the second reading of Ordinance 1124, an ordinance amending the Municipal Code of Ordinances of Waverly, Iowa by repealing Chapter 75 Wastewater Facilities and replacing it with a new Chapter 75 Wastewater Facilities.
Second.
Motion by Bergen, second by Meyers. Council discussion.
I guess I just, for the public at home or those watching, this is more just clarifying some languages and cleaning some stuff up with these ordinances. We're not making wholesale changes to the ordinances, but it's more of a housekeeping.
Making it a little simpler to understand, simpler to read, and a little more consistent, so.
Hearing nothing further, roll call, Carla.
Rathe.
Yes.
Myers.
Yes.
Kangas.
Yes.
Drenkow.
Yes.
Bergen.
Yes.
Schneider.
Yes.
A vote of 6-0 and 1 absent. The second reading of Ordinance 1124 is approved. Brings us to item number 3. This is the date, time, and place for a public hearing on the second reading of Ordinance 1125, amending the Municipal Code of Ordinances of Waverly, Iowa by repealing Chapter 78, Water and Sewer Connection Fees, and replacing it with a new Chapter 78, Water and Sewer Connection Fees. The mayor and city council will entertain any comments. After all comments, the hearing will be declared closed and the following action will be considered. Have we received any written or oral comments on this public hearing, Carl?
I have not, Your Honor.
Thank you. Any public comments from anyone that has joined us this evening? Seeing nobody rise, we'll close the public hearing and entertain a motion.
I'll move approval of the second reading of Ordinance 1125, an ordinance amending the Municipal Code of Ordinances of Waverly, Iowa by repealing Chapter 78, Water and Sewer Connection Fees, and replacing it with a new Chapter 78, Water and Sewer Connection Fees.
Second.
Motion by Rathe, second by Schneider. Council discussion. Hearing none, roll call, Carla.
Meyers,
Yes.
Kangas,
Yes.
Drenkow,
Yes.
Birgen,
Yes.
Schneider,
Yes.
Rathe.
Yes.
With a 6-0 and 1 absent, the second reading of Ordinance 1125 is approved. Bring this to Section H, public comments for items not on the agenda. Please limit your comments to 5 minutes. Unless additional time is granted by the presiding officer, all remarks shall be addressed to the council as a whole and not to any individual member. Any public comments this evening? Welcome. Seeing nobody rise, we'll move to the consent calendar, Section I. Item 1 is setting the public hearing date for May 15th, 2023 at 7 p.m. in the council chambers of City Hall to amend the fiscal year 2023 operating budget. Item 2 is the cash disbursements for March 2023. Item 3 is pay request from WHKS and Company for $19,801.31 for the Waverly Water Pollution Control Facility improvements, construction phase engineering services. Item 4 is a pay request from Grider Construction Incorporated for $339,720 for the Waverly Water Pollution Control Facility improvements. Item 5 is a pay request from McClure for $3,930 for the Waverly Construct Taxiway Connector. Item 6 is a pay request from McClure for $2,405.50 for the Waverly Construct Taxiway Connector. Item 7 is a pay request from McClure for $3,578.50 for the Waverly Municipal Airport Reconstruct South T Hangar Taxi Lane. Item 8 is a pay request from McClure for $7,798.50 for the Waverly Municipal Airport Reconstruct South T Hangar Taxi Lane. Item 9 is a pay request from Stagey Construction for $30,859.70 for the Cedar River Ball Diamond Development 2022-2023. And item 10 is a pay request from Stagey Construction Incorporated for $30,144.91 for the Waverly Parks Maintenance Office remodel. Entertain a motion to approve.
I will move approval of the consent calendar as read by the mayor.
Second.
Motion by Birgen, second by Drenkow. Council discussion, if any. Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the same sign. Consent calendar is approved. Section J, regular business. Item number 1 is Resolution 23-64, adopting financial policies for the city of Waverly. Entertain a motion.
I'll move approval of Resolution 23-64, a resolution adopting financial policies for the city of Waverly.
Second.
Motion by Meyers, second by Birgen. Council discussion, if any.
So I didn't go back 5 years and look at the original. Is there anything, any real significance that you want to comment on, or?
I don't think there really is. A lot of it was
Changed.
reformatting. We had some duplication that we took out and things of that nature, but really, it was just, really reformatting, giving you a much broader table of contents to find things easier as well. Because we had multiple policies together, we combined them into one single with different sections, so all the same information is there, it's just simpler. And it'll eliminate, like I said, a lot of duplication that we didn't need to have in there, so. Is that fair, Val?
Thanks.
You bet.
Any further discussion? Hearing none, roll call, Carla.
Kangas,
Yes.
Drenkow,
Yes.
Birgen,
Yes.
Schneider,
Yes.
Rathe,
Yes.
Meyers.
Yes.
Vote of 6-0 and 1 absent. Resolution 23-64 is approved. Item 2 is Resolution 23-65, naming depositories for the city of Waverly. Entertain a motion.
I would move approval of Resolution 2365, naming depositories for the city of Waverly.
Second.
Motion by Kangas, second by Birgen. Council discussion, if any, there. Hearing none. Ron? Oh,
No.
okay. Hearing none, roll call, Carla.
Drenkow.
Yes.
Birgen.
Yes.
Schneider.
Yes.
Rathe.
Yes.
Myers.
Yes.
Kangas.
Yes.
Vote of 6-0 and 1 absent, Resolution 23-65 is approved. Item 3 is Resolution 23-66, directing the advertisement for sale of $4,500,000 general obligation bonds, Series 2023, and approving electronic bidding procedures and official statement. Entertain a motion.
I'll move approval of Resolution 23-66, a resolution directing the advertisement for sale of $4.5 million general obligation bonds, Series 2023, and approving electronic bidding procedures and official statement.
Second.
Motion by Rathe, second by Drenkow. Council discussion.
So maybe just a summary for the public about what we're going to spend this on.
You bet. So as we went through budget and kind of walked through everything we're looking at, this will be our portion of the library remodel, the portion of the parks building remodels, both buildings there. You have the water tower work we'll be doing, as well as the water main extensions we'll be doing, the generators, Public Works building. I mean, it's just that list of everything that we had included, and it comes out to about $4.5 million. About 3 of that will be paid back with taxes. The other will be through water fees to accomplish that piece of it. And it'll actually be less than the bond that's falling off next year. So it should not be any actual impact overall.
So capacity continues to creep up a
Yeah,
little
we're
bit.
in great shape capacity wise. We're probably in the low to mid 50s versus 80 where we were how many years ago. So we have plenty of capacity as needed. And Val and I have gone through a Moody's call with our ratings, so we're waiting to hear what that rating will be. I think it was a good experience for us. I don't think we'll have any issue necessarily. I think we'll be held. But so far so good, and we look for good rates on these. And we can start getting moving. We should have funding before July 1. So July 1 will be ready to go.
Thanks.
You bet.
Anything further? Hearing none, roll call, Carla.
Birgen.
Yes.
Schneider.
Yes.
Rathe.
Yes.
Myers.
Yes.
Kangas.
Yes.
Drenkow.
Yes.
Vote is 6-0 and 1 absent, Resolution 23-66 is approved. Item number 4 is Resolution 23-67, repealing Resolution 06-79, City of Waverly Curb and Gutter Maintenance Program and Policy, and replacing it with Resolution 23-67, City of Waverly Curb and Gutter Maintenance Policy. Entertain a motion.
I will move approval of Resolution 23-67, a resolution repealing Resolution 0679, City of Waverly Curb and Gutter Maintenance Program and Policy, and replacing it with Resolution 23-67, City of Waverly Curb and Gutter Maintenance Policy.
Second.
Motion by Drenkow, second by Birgen. Council discussion.
Let me just say a couple of words on this. I'm not sure if Justin's going to say anything, but one of the issues that this addresses is a situation, and I've had this with a resident here in Waverly, where the gutter at the end of their driveway is in really bad shape. It's cracked, it's pitted, it has holes in it, there's chunks of concrete, and there's no question that it needs something to happen. The dilemma is the homeowner would like to do something to repair it, but the gutter is owned by the city, and the homeowner can't repair the gutter because it's owned by the city. The city's policy is not to repair the gutter unless the holes in it are more than a certain depth, which is 1.5 inches, which makes sense because the way that the gutter would be repaired is basically to lay asphalt over it. And if the asphalt is that thin, it's going to break up very quickly and would have to be done over and over and over again. So with the old policy that was in place, it was a catch-22. The resident wanted to fix the gutter, couldn't do it because the city owned it. The city couldn't fix the gutter because the policy said that it was not damaged enough to be fixed. What this policy does, I think, is a very wise way to go about it, is to say if the gutter is damaged and the homeowner is willing to defray 50% of the cost in repairing the gutter, in this case, it would probably have to be taken out and completely re-cemented, that the city would do the other half of the gutter repair. And I think that that's a very good policy to take care of these situations where there are some issues with the gutter that the homeowner themselves aren't able to fix. You know, I was thinking through this policy, the new policy, and I guess I personally would like to see the city pay for all of it because it's the city's gutter, but I understand and agree with the idea of having the homeowner pay for half of it, because otherwise you may end up with a situation where the gutter really isn't in that bad a shape. There might be a couple of pits in it, maybe a crack or something, and the homeowner says, hey, come out here and fix it. Requiring the homeowner to pay for 50% of the repair is going to take care of those situations where it really doesn't need to be repaired. So I think this is a really good adjustment to this policy. I know one situation where it is going to have an effect, and I'm sure there are other places in the city where, over the next few years, this will be something that we can take a look at. So I'm very much in favor of this change. I hope I explained that well enough, Justin.
I would like to reiterate, it's a maintenance program, it's not a replacement. That's what the original policy was. It's to address these issues, as Rod has mentioned, throughout the town.
I suppose my only comment is, I know that this is a resolution, which means we have like one vote on it as opposed to the ordinances, which we read 3 times. I really didn't understand what was going on until you explained it, so I appreciate your explanation. I do kind of wish that this was one of those things that we would kind of mull over a little bit more like the ordinances. I'd like to know kind of, is there anything that we're missing? Like any kind of side to this that we're not seeing? Because I think we've had things in the past where we passed a resolution thinking that we get to revisit it, and we never did.
Right.
So that's my only concern. It's like, it all makes sense, but because it's a resolution, I don't get one chance at it. I just want to know what I'm missing.
I didn't propose this. This is
Okay.
finally a resolution that I didn't propose, that you don't like, Brian.
I'm going to give you credit this
I'm just
time.
explaining why this has come up.
Is this going to come up every year, though? Will we look at this every year or
No,
not?
the whole goal of this was to not have to look at it
Okay.
every single year
Okay.
Yeah.
and set a rate that was going to be reasonable. And that's why it states it will be set at the time, concrete goes up and down in cost and price. And so if you look at the old policy that we had sort of been following, this is night and day better, in our opinion. That's kind of why we put it out there. You can certainly make a change, and it's easier to do it with
Okay.
a policy like this instead of 3 readings of an ordinance every time you want to change it. So that's why it's more of a policy versus an ordinance. So if there's something missing and we come across something that needs to be changed, we certainly can review it, but we at least want to get this started and going, because there's areas that, as Rod had mentioned, kind of fell between the cracks, no pun intended. We couldn't fix it very well because it didn't exactly meet the requirements, but something needed to be done, and that's what makes it kind of difficult. And there are areas where people are going to want those parts fixed, but to properly do it, you may have to go up a ways into their driveway to make it correct because it isn't separated, or there is not a one size fits all in these at all. It is really case by case. This will give staff the broadest range of ability to make those decisions as need be, to what's best to fix it instead of just patching it. And that's kind of our goal. If people would rather have it just patched, that's also an option. So yeah, you can certainly make a change if something comes up, and then it can be much simpler than a 3-reading ordinance.
And it looks like this has been in place for 17 years, so.
Yeah. Justin, is there a need for a rotating replacement program like we do with sidewalks and other things, or not?
I think that's something we could look at down the road. It's difficult when you get into some of these areas, because as James mentioned, some of them go into their approaches. So it's kind of hard to draw the line where you stop. The standards now are different on curb and gutter sections than what a lot of town observed at the time. So that's where you run into your issues. So it's kind of a double-edged sword there.
Okay.
I mean, we put an amount away every year for this, we've not been utilizing as much as we could have, and we're trying to hopefully be able to do that, but within reason. And as it says, if it doesn't fit this budget, you go on the list for next year, but it can only go so far. We don't have a tremendous amount of funding for this, and that's why, as you said, it's more maintenance, not just, I don't like it, it's cracked, let's replace it.
Yeah.
We don't want to start getting to that either, so.
Right.
Hearing nothing further, roll call, Carla.
Schneider.
Yes.
Rathe.
Yes.
Myers.
Yes.
Kangas.
Yes.
Drenkow.
Yes.
Birgen.
Yes.
Opposed, 6-0, and 1 absent. Resolution 23-67 is approved. Item number 5 is the first reading of Ordinance 1126, amending the zoning ordinance of the City of Waverly, Iowa, providing for rezoning of portions of Waverly Medical Park that are now zoned R4, including parcel ID 0911101026 and parcel ID 0911126007 from R4 Multiple Family Residential Transitional District to R-2, 1, and 2 Family Residential District, and incorporating the zoning map of the City of Waverly, Iowa as part of said ordinance and setting a public hearing. Entertain a motion.
I will move approval of the first reading of Ordinance 1126, an ordinance amending the zoning ordinance of the City of Waverly, Iowa, providing for rezoning of portions of Waverly Medical Park that are now zoned R4, including parcel ID 0911101026 and parcel ID 0911126007 from R4 Multiple Family Residential Transitional District to R2 1 and 2 Family Residential District, and incorporating the zoning map of the City of Waverly, Iowa as part of said ordinance, and setting a public hearing for May 15, 2023 at 7 p.m. in the City Council chambers at City Hall.
Second.
Motion by Birgen, second by Kangas. Council discussion or staff?
I just had a quick question. So was the R4 in place like ever since that part of town was developed? Or is this a real recent change to plans?
It was R4 for quite some time.
And so now these owners have decided what they're going to do with it,
Right.
and they're going for.
R4 meant something different back then when it was in place, and so
Was it meant to be multifamily,
it was actually meant to be multifamily, but also like commercial.
commercial?
at
Kind
the
of the
same
Wild
time.
West for a little while,
Right.
pretty much anything went.
Well, I noticed it looked like on the future land use map, or the land use map, it's always been residential. Or is that a more recent reiteration of
I mean, I think
map?
the residential though is just residential, so it could be
Yeah.
multi-different.
Okay.
R1, 2, 3,
Yeah.
4, could have been anything.
And in this situation, the R1 development was done kind of as because there was an existing home there. And it still was consistent though, because the First Street is all R2 and it would be similar with lots, it'll be a little deeper.
And is there any sort of estimate on whether the lots will be sold separately and people can choose their builder, or any, talked in the P&Z minutes about maybe this being more affordable housing? Do we know anything about the price range?
Well, they're interested in a workforce tax credit project, so we'll wait and see what they do.
And so what are the parameters of that?
The parameters are how much they are able to get from the state.
I mean, is it based on,
County, you want to share?
They do have a set pricing they're looking to do here, and again, this has become workforce tax credit, so the state has established this is now workforce housing. so
yeah, and
to
that's what
speak.
I guess I can't remember what the criteria are for that,
Right.
so.
Yeah,
If you
so
would, Connie.
the way that program works is they assist with affordability by providing a tax credit based on each home that is built. There are pricing caps in terms of how much can be spent on the build for each unit, and then the developer can receive a tax credit. For a small community, we fall within that category. It's up to 20% on the first $150,000, so up to $30,000 per housing unit can be the state incentive toward that.
Okay, that the developer or the builder gets?
It goes to
Okay.
the developer or the builder,
Okay.
yes.
And we will have to provide a financial match to some of this as well. It's a minimum of $1,000. The projects that have been getting approved are closer to $5,000, which you're talking 40 homes here, all built within the next 3 years, because there is a time frame when you have to start and when you have to finish. And so these will be much more affordable compared to what we're seeing built currently. Estimates were, what, the high 200s, low 300s?
Low 300s.
Which is now considered workforce housing.
Yeah.
So that's what this goal is. We've been talking how many weeks about bringing in more affordable housing. Well, this isn't what some people would say would be affordable, but all relative. According to the state of Iowa, this is what affordable workforce housing is. That'll give them the tax credits. And there'll be about 40 houses put in here that I think will sell as fast as they can build them. They're full basement, 12 to 1,500 square feet, 2-3 bedroom. I mean, they're nice looking houses.
They'll be very similar to the homes that just built just to the east there on First, except for, as Bill mentioned, they'll have deeper lots, so a little more yard space.
And Connie, is there a requirement for how big the development has to be, or how many houses they have to put in?
I want to say it's a minimum of 4 homes, so they'll
Okay.
well exceed that in a development as they're proposing with 40.
Is this an option for the Irving property?
It could be.
It could be, but since
It
it's so
could
much
be.
smaller, they chose to go after a much larger project of 40 houses versus maybe 6, 4, to make more
The
bang for the
developer,
buck,
you
so
mean.
to speak, the developer did.
Yes.
So I think it's possible someone else wanted to attempt to do something like that. I think it certainly is. We just want to get this established first.
Yeah, that was a question.
Because we talked about that with the developer as well, and this just made more sense.
Yeah. So tonight, this will be the first reading and set the public hearing on the rezoning. That's the first step. And then on the 15th, when you hold the second reading in the public hearing, we'll also bring to you the request for financial and a resolution of support for the development. So that'll be forthcoming in a couple of weeks.
Their application is due
June 9th.
So there may be a chance we may ask you to waive the third and final reading to accelerate that process, allow them to be able to apply in time. Otherwise, we're looking at June 5th, which gives them 4 days to get the application in to then try and move this forward. So depending on the public hearing, public interest, public discussion, we'll have that request. And if you determine to do that, that'll be great. If not, June 5th will be the third and final reading then if it continues to move forward. But I thought it was a great opportunity. Like I said, they're very nice houses, 2-car garages, full basements. For that price range, that's substantially below what you're seeing built in other parts of the city right now. So I think it's a great location. We think it'll fill quickly.
Thanks, Connie. Anything further? Hearing none, roll call, Carla.
Schneider.
Yes.
Rathe.
Yes.
Myers.
Yes.
Kangas.
Yes.
Drenkow.
Yes.
Birgen.
Yes.
Vote is 6-0 and 1 absent. The first reading of ordinance 1126 is approved. Brings us to item number 6, resolution 23-68, approving a plat of survey creating parcel YY in the Centennial Oaks Golf Club edition of the city of Waverly, Iowa. Entertain a motion.
I'll move approval of Resolution 23-68, a resolution approving a plat of survey creating parcel YY in the Centennial Oaks Golf Club edition at 176 Eagle Ridge Drive and 180 Eagle Ridge Drive, Waverly, Iowa, for a single-family dwelling.
Second.
Motion by Rathe, second by Meyers. Council discussion.
I just had 2 questions. One, and Bill sort of cleared this up for me, they both had an Eagle Ridge address, but in one of the documents, it looked like they were on Pinehurst Point, but apparently there is not a Pinehurst Point.
No, they're all addressed on Eagle Ridge.
Okay. And then another question was something Julie mentioned. It said that one of the services needs to be moved. What does that mean?
So both of them have water and sewer to their lot.
Oh,
And
okay.
when you build on one, or across the lot, one of those services have to be removed, one of the water and one of the sewer services.
And who bears the cost of doing that?
The owner.
Homeowner? Thanks.
Well, I just think it's interesting that this just shows that there's a appropriate time when the lot size and location and the character of the surrounding neighborhood trumps housing density. So I'll keep this in my back pocket should I need it again when we start talking about Irving.
I suppose when I look at this, I think about all the issues we had with sidewalk infill, where we would have one lot with a house on it, another lot which was next to it for breathing space, And I kind of appreciate the fact that they're actually joining two lots together, so it'll be kind of just one lot, and we won't have that concern about is this one lot or two lots.
So they're forewarned that they need to put a sidewalk on both lots.
I don't know if this is the sidewalk side of the street.
Right,
so-
right, I don't either.
So this is a private driveway, a shared driveway, so they wouldn't have to put a city street or a city sidewalk on that subdivision.
Unless their neighbors like really twisted their arms or
The
something.
cul-de-sac is
On
private,
Pinehurst, it was.
That Pinehurst isn't a city road.
Right.
so Eagle Ridge is a city road. They have to put a sidewalk on the,
It will have a sidewalk this year, I believe, all the way on the south side.
It's
so
on the other
across
side of the street.
across the
Yeah,
street.
across the street. It'll be all the way through, because all the houses will be in this year, and then we'll finish that all the way down to the end.
And that's why
That's why they don't.
the houses are addressed on Eagle Ridge and because Pinehurst Point is a private drive, it's not a city street.
Okay. So am I interpreting this correctly, that at this point, there are no houses that have been built on Pinehurst?
There's,
There's the
it
one on
looks
the
like there's one on
corner.
the other side of the cul-de-sac there.
Yeah, it
On the
has,
corner, right?
There's one there and one empty lot, and then there's the two empty lots that will be combined, so, and I think they're all owned by somebody who's going to build at some point, so.
It looks like there's 4 lots that are empty and 2 are going to be combined.
Yeah.
Is that right?
There's one has a house on it. The one there's actually 2 houses that don't show up in here. Where the dark roof is, there's one right behind it that's being built right now.
Oh, okay.
And then there's one to the right of it, if you're facing it from Eagle Ridge. There's a house there too.
Okay.
There's one lot then at the end that has not been developed. And
There
then
must be a
there's
house
one-
going in there. Okay, so this is old. Okay.
Yeah. In the cul-de-sac, I think, the other cul-de-sac, I think there's one lot that's not been built on yet.
The old other cul-de-sac across Eagle Ridge is what you're referring to?
Yep.
Okay.
Is that also a private drive?
Mhm.
Okay.
Those are the ones that were vacated last couple of meetings. Anything further? Hearing none, roll call, Carla.
Rathe,
Yes.
Meyers,
Yes.
Kangas,
Yes.
Drenkow,
Yes.
Birgen,
Yes.
Schneider.
Yes.
Vote of 6-0 and 1 absent, Resolution 23-68 is approved. Brings us to Section 7, approval of the mayoral appointments. I'll go ahead and read them. Is approve the following mayoral appointments. Stephen Main, Ron Lenth, and Kip Ledegi are reappointed to the Upper Cedar Watershed Management Improvement Authority, with their terms all expiring May 1st of 2027. Bob Jewell is reappointed to the Board of Adjustments for a term expiring May 1st of 2028. Shar Rorda and Katie Hansen are appointed to the Human Equity and Diversity Commission for terms expiring February 15th, 2025. And Kathy Olson is reappointed to the Planning and Zoning Commission for a term expiring May 1st of 2028. Entertain a motion.
Move approval of mayoral appointments as read by the mayor.
Second.
Motion by Kangas, second by Birgen. Council discussion, if any. Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the same sign. Motion carries. Section 8 is, or item 8 is discussion of personnel policy updates. I'll kick this over to Mr. Bonner.
Danielle Stratton is here as well from Human Resources. Just kind of wanted to bring forward a couple things we're looking at. We've been working through the handbook for some time, kind of put it on hold for a little bit as we've got other software stuff we're working through, from HR software to the new payroll software coming. So, but there's still a couple things. We talked to you before about the contracts we had settled. That'll start July 1st. A couple changes have been made. We looked at adding a personal day. We looked at changing some of the way comp time was calculated. And we didn't bring up the issue of applying that citywide then, since the majority of people will have that through contract. There's a number that will not. And so our goal is to basically bring that to you to make sure that you're okay if we do apply that citywide, just at least get a feeling of where you're at with it. And there's some other items that we eventually will be working through. We'll bring to you a little later, but as July 1 gets here, we're going through open enrollment right now. We want to get a good slate of benefits that would be provided, and just something so we would have an accurate list. And so we just want to get comments, discussion briefly with you, and Danielle can certainly answer more detailed questions than I can about the personal day or the change to comp time, to get everybody on the same schedule, same rate. And so that's just the gist of this. It's not a lot, but we just want to bring it to your attention that we didn't actually discuss that before.
It seems similar to what we did a few years ago after a union
Yeah.
negotiation where we made sure everyone was going to benefit in the same way.
Very much so.
Okay.
We just want to make sure it was brought to you to consider, and if there's any issues, questions, that we were able to answer them before we went forward to apply it citywide.
About what percentage of the city staff is not covered already by the changes?
Probably less than a third,
Okay.
because a good portion of the staff is unionized, and so
Right.
it's really going to be mostly what's in City Hall
Okay.
and library. That would pretty much be it.
Okay.
I think it makes perfect sense.
Again, we just want to bring it up, just to see if there's any concern, any issue. Like I said, there'll be other things we'll be trying to bring forward as we finish this out, but we'll just move forward, apply this, and get everything set, and we should be good to go.
Sounds fair to me.
Is there anything you want to add, Danielle? Any comment? Okay. Okay.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you. Brings us to section K, reports from boards and commissions. Two of them there. First one is Golf Course Commission minutes of February 14th, 2023. Second one is Planning and Zoning Commission minutes of March 2nd, 2023, received into the record. Brings us to section L, staff updates. Back to Mr. Browner.
Garrett has been working on War and Peace over there. So he's got a little bit to talk about, because there's so much
All right.
going on this week. So if you would, Garrett.
I'm gonna jump in before Garrett. gets
Oh,
on.
you're going to start like that?
Update, Special Collections Week, we had 101 orders and 337 items picked up. So the guys were busy. It went really well.
Good.
And a lot of those went online forums or emails, so there was only 9 walk-ins and a handful of call-ins, so it helped a lot. And the second one, I just want to update the yard waste collections continuing through this week. So it hasn't been the best weather for people to get that out, but if it gets better, it'll go through Friday.
What was the most unusual item that got picked up? And do the employees take stuff home that they pick up?
No comment.
Of course they don't. That would be silly. It's, one person's junk, so the other
Right,
person's treasure,
exactly.
so.
All right, want to start off with letting everybody know that the disc golf course signs are in. They went up late last week, so they look pretty neat. Get out there and try the golf course out. If you need to rent discs, borrow discs, they're available at the library, so you can check them out. I went out and played the course on Friday, tons of fun. So yeah, get out there and give it a try, check out the signs.
Watch that overpass on the bridge, though. That's a tricky one. It's,
You may
I want
want
to get away from you. You gotta
You
watch
may
it.
want to wait till the wind dies down a little bit.
It's
Take it
I'm
away.
just saying it could happen. So
I may have seen it happen.
I've heard about it once. Just go ahead and move on.
This
Enough, Pete.
coming,
Move on, Garrett.
this coming Wednesday, May 3rd, we are having the tree planting with the middle schoolers. We'll be putting in between 50 and 60 trees. So if you'd like to volunteer for that, I know some folks already have, so if you'd like to volunteer, we're meeting at 8:15 at the 300 block of 4th Street Northwest, so right over by the Northwest Gardens. Again, that's with the middle schoolers. It's usually a lot of fun teaching them about the trees and actually getting out and planting some. This Saturday, May 6th, Art Walk. We've already talked about that before. I'd just like to bring it up again to remind everyone, from 10 o'clock until 4 o'clock, right over there in Coleman Park. Any volunteers that want to come and work in the volunteer booth, we'll definitely take you. Farmers Market is also beginning this Saturday, May 6th. I don't have the hours for that, but it usually runs from about 8 to noon. So get out and check out the farmers market as well. Another event on May 6th, the Try-By-Night with Wartburg will be happening. That is going to be on Saturday morning. So just be aware of that. You'll have people on bikes, people running. Just be careful, use caution. Then we get into our Cedar River Park updates. Dugouts are done. They've been inspected. Everything has gone through there. So we're looking at getting kids out on the ball diamonds really soon. Press boxes are very close. Not quite done yet, but hopefully by the end of this week. And then the restrooms and the concession stand are a little bit behind, but they're coming along really good. So they should be ready to go really soon here as well. Speaking about getting the kids out on the field soon, we are going to have a kind of a grand opening or an opening ceremony, if you will, next Monday, which is, May 8th at 5 p.m. At the Miracle League field. We'll be having, like I said, just a little ceremony, thanking our sponsors, that type of thing. So if you have a chance, get on out. One, it'll give you a chance to see all the ball diamonds, and two, it will be a nice ceremony out there. Along with that, we are starting our Swing for the Trees, looking for donations for trees for Cedar River Park. Obviously, there were 0 trees when we got everything taken care of groundwork-wise out there. So we did get a very nice donation from Wells Hollow last fall. They took care of phase 1, which was 20 trees. We're looking at 5 total phases, 20 trees each for 100 total trees. This particular phase that we're trying to raise $5,000 for, Trees Forever has agreed to match donations up to $2,500. So, for $2,500, we're going to get $5,000 is what it amounts to. So, feel free to take a look at that. Gardens, community gardens. We're going to do the planting there on Saturday, May 13th. Last year we did over 14,000 pounds of food between there and the orchard. So if you have a chance to come out and help with that, it'll be May 13th at 9 a.m. That's when we'll start the planting, and hopefully the weather cooperates. Well, for all of these really, but we've had some trouble with the gardens in the past for weather-wise. Also on May 13th, Saturday, 10:30 a.m. Karen talked a little bit about it. Karen and Chris talked a little bit about it at the last meeting. The dedication of the commemorative bronze plaque that's going to be mounted on the base of the metal salvage from the 3rd Street Southeast Bridge. That ceremony will be taking place on the south side of where the bridge used to be, there on 3rd Street Southeast. We mentioned earlier about the Parks Maintenance Building remodel. We are planning on being back in there June 1. They should be complete with that phase 1. And then we're getting ready to get going with plans for phase 2 to finish everything else off. And hopefully the next time that we're all sitting in here, we have water in the pool. We'll see. But I'm planning on starting working on that here at the end of this week, and getting everything cleaned and start filling probably in about 10 days or so. So that's the end of what I have tonight, unless anyone has any questions that I can answer for them.
That's all we have tonight, sir.
Thank you. Brings us to city council comments. Ms. Meyers.
In addition to all that Garrett talked about on Saturday, the Chamber is sponsoring Waverly Gone Wild, spring open houses with the retailers downtown from 10 to 4. Lots of fun games and deals and refreshments going on. And also tomorrow morning from 7:30 to 8:30 at CUSB is the second quarter Waverly Connected Networking Breakfast.
Thank you. Mr. Birgen.
Well, Garrett took care of everything I was thinking of mentioning, except anyone who wants to talk about city business can join me for a beer after the city council meeting at the Poorhouse.
Thank you. Mr. Drenkow.
Councilmember Rathe just mentioned that the water is going to be really cold in the pool, so let's just keep our fingers crossed and hope that the pool heaters work.
They better.
Maybe we need some new ones.
So, thank you, sir. Ms. Rathe?
A few of us had the pleasure of attending the Citizens Police Academy graduation last week, which was the first time I'd ever attended, and it was a really fun event, and I'm thinking of doing the Police Academy. I thought maybe I'd talk Julie into doing it with me, but I'm not going to get tased. I draw the line somewhere, but I would commend that. Oh, jeez, okay. I think it's a great program, so I hope people will look at it. I suppose it'll be next winter, Holly, when they... next spring. Next spring,
Well,
okay.
they open it up for applications usually in January.
Okay, all right.
And
And it's a
starts-
10-week program.
weeks.
Yeah.
So it looks really interesting, so I encourage people to check it out.
And I went through it and I did not get tased, so.
Yeah, okay.
New policy, no tasing, no graduation.
I don't
Good
think
enough
they
for
should be
them.
allowed to tase elected
Then we
officials.
drive down the applicants if you put
Yeah.
that in there.
I'm just glad to know that OC is not out of the question. The
The
pepper
what?
spray.
Yes, the pepper spray.
Pepper spray is
You
not out of
can
the
volunteer
question,
for the
no.
pepper spray if you want.
Oh, you should flip those.
Yes.
I don't know.
Mr. Kangas?
Well, I was gonna add that this weekend also is the Waverly soccer tournament for Waverly Shell Rock. So in addition to nothing else really happening in town, we're gonna bring in, they usually bring in some of the better teams in the state or as part of the
Yeah.
state for that tournament. So it will be busy Saturday, so please be careful as you're driving around, be friendly, be helpful. And then the other thing is, next week is Teacher Appreciation Week, so I do wish to express my appreciation to all the teachers that we have in town and work within our district and serve our community and our students.
Thank you. As far as my only comments, I had an individual that came to my place of employment within the last week regarding the disc golf course. They hadn't been in town for a while, and they were saying, how do I get there? You know, I know where it is, but I haven't been here. How do I get there? And I said, well, you know, you can go down Brookwood Park, but it's, you know, expanded and it's much bigger. And he goes, you got to be kidding me. And I said, yeah, we got tee boxes and we got signs on the way and we got all this wonderful stuff. And he goes, it was a gem back in the day, but this is just going to be unreal. I look forward to this. So looking at that opportunity, or looking at those great praises of some of the infrastructure we have and people that are coming back and saying, well, I'm here in town, I'm going to go hit the disc golf course, and unbeknownst to them, it's been improved vastly. So investments where people are benefiting are great. So with that, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
Move we adjourn.
Second?
Motion by Kangas, second by Birgen. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the same sign. We are adjourned. Thank you.